There we go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Mom-Versations. Please say hello in the chat once you come in. I am so excited about our guest today. Let me tell you, first of all, let me start as always. If this is your first time tuning into Mom-Versations, and you're like, what in the world is that? Mom-Versations. Hello. First of all, my name is Aretha Scruggs. I'm so happy you joined us tonight. Thank you for those who are returning. It has been such a fun ride. For those who don't know, this is season 2. I think I have like 13, 14, I got to count the number, but whatever. It's been such a great journey of interviewing moms from all walks of life. We've had parenting coaches, we've had life coaches and self-care coaches. That's what I was gonna say. We've had directors, we've had singers, we've had artists, we've had actresses and playwrights and dancers and dance teachers. And I mean, you can name it all. We've had so many guests on this show. And for those who are consistent watchers, I have learned so much from every guest, every artist that I've had on. So I'm just really excited to have my guest today. For those who are watching now or will watch later, you, especially who are in the arts, you might have heard this name. You might have worked with her. Maybe you don't know who she is at all. And that's okay, too, because you're going to have a chance to meet the spunky Bobbi Page today. Let me give you a little bit of background on my guest, and then I'm going to bring her on. I first of all want you to see my flowers here. This is an ode to my daughter, Imani. We both love the colors pink and purple. So she pretty much like every other week, we pick out flowers from the grocery store, wherever we're at, and then put it in a vase. And we just love to see flowers around the house. So I wanted to highlight, these are the most recent flowers that we chose. But anyways, back to Bobbi Page. As you know, I'm a mom. Hey, my 2 greatest passions, music, arts, and being a mom. So that's why I created this show. Anyways, but let me give a chance to introduce you to Bobbi Page. So Bobbi Page, and let me say, sorry, my mind is over. Mom-Versations, for those who don't know, Mom-Versations is a show where we hear real life stories of incredible moms making waves in our world, from entertainers to entrepreneurs and beyond. So you tonight are joining the Mom-Versation to learn and just get some tips and just learn kind of a autobiographical story from the actual person. How do they do this thing? How have they lived this thing called mommying and living in purpose and living in their craft and their gifts? So to neither prolong the time or the introduction of meeting the person you came to hear about, Bobbi Page. Let me tell you a little bit about Bobbi Page. Bobbi Page is how I know her, she's a vocal contractor, but she's also a vocalist whose career spans over 3 decades. She's been singing and contracting for hundreds of films, television shows, commercials, sound recordings, and has performed as a guest soloist with orchestras internationally and throughout the United States. Now, I already put her bio up, so I won't be able to read all of what she's done, but let me give you a few highlights. Her performances in film have been films such as Jurassic Park, Planet of the Apes, Star Trek Returns, Rogue One, Jungle Book, Ice Age 1, 2, and 3, Men in Black 1, 2, and 3. In animation, you've heard Bobbi sing in both Lion Kings, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, Mulan. She's a voiceover artist also and has portrayed an assorted woodland and water creatures, and even scary voices under the stairs in Nightmare Before Christmas. I know I've seen that. Bobbi was the voice of the wind in Pocahontas. Oh my God! She was the voice of the wind in Pocahontas, the voice of Princess Yum Yum in The Thief and the Cobbler, and she sang the love theme duet in Secret of Nim 2 with Al Jarreau. Her musical performances, she's appeared in The Simpsons, Animaniacs, at Disneyland attractions called Believe. She's been a Family Guy with American Dad. In addition to performing live and in studio, she's been with such notable artists as Michael Bublé, Michael Jackson, Josh Groban, Ringo Starr, Paul McCartney. Her contracting and singing has also awarded her on-camera opportunities in both television and film. Bobbi's most recent work project was the 2020 Academy Awards. Bobbi has recorded as a vocalist and contractor. She's also been a vocalist herself for a host of rock bands, including Korn, Skillet, Pod, Muse, Linkin Park, Rod Stewart, Red Chili Peppers. And for her own personal story, we'll hear a little bit more about that. She was raised and is the daughter of a minister from Indiana. Grew up singing in the church and ministering through the community by singing and being in concert. She's thrilled with the opportunity. I love this, of being of service to young up-and-comers who desire to be a part of the music industry while keeping a balanced life of faith that informs their music. What a fabulous bio. What an amazing 3-decade career. I am so honored to be just interviewing my new friend, I'll call her, my new spunky friend, Bobbi Page. So why don't you guys come and just give a online applause. I'm going to bring Bobbi Page so you can meet her too.
Hey.
Hey,
Bobbi. Hey, everybody. Get in the camera.
Here she is, everybody. This is Bobbi Page.
Hey.
Yes, I had the pleasure of first working with Bobbi. I think it was the El Royale.
It was
that I was hired for, and then we just got talking after the session singers meeting, the diversity meeting. So it's just been really cool to talk with her offline and find the things that we are, have in common. But also, I told her, "Hey, I'm doing this show. Would you mind being a part?" She was like, "Yes, I'd love to." So so I'm really
I love this. I love what you're doing. It is so important.
Yes.
And brilliant that you just took it on and are doing this for moms around the world. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? This is important. And I'll hear Bobbi's story, but yes, this is my heart's passion, because literally there's sometimes warring, inside of, oh my God, am I going to be I'm a mom, or am I an artist, or am I a vocalist? But you're both of those things. So it's like having to figure out how do I do this? And it's just a constant thing. But my greatest treasure is my daughter. And I'm sure you can say the same for your two sons.
Yes, my two sons. Wow. Yeah. I always thought I would have daughters because I'm the youngest of 4 kids. I have 2 sisters and a brother, but it was all girl thing. And I babysat little girls, and I'm just kind of a girly girl.
Yes.
And so I thought, I'm going to have daughters. This is going to happen. I got 2 sons.
Yeah,
and it's like, it's God's little joke. It's like, okay, I know all the girls and sisters. Okay, here's a boy. No.
I love it.
What a lesson. Yeah.
Yes. Well, tell us, we'll start right at the top.
Okay.
For those, I know I just read your amazing bio, but who is Bobbi Page really? Who are you? Where are you from? Where did you fall in love with music, and how did you even get started in this here wonderful career you have?
Okay. I, as you mentioned, am from Elkhart, Indiana, and my father was a minister in a very small church. And so my mother was the pianist and the organist.
Wow.
And she was a full-time secretary and piano teacher.
Wow.
So I started in a family where my mom was very accomplished, but also a real servant. She had a real servant's heart, but she worked hard, and she was just a dynamic woman. So I started singing in a trio with my sisters when I was 4.
Wow.
I was baby Bobbi, and I was singing the harmonies, and it just came to me, and I loved it. And so that's what kind of started my journey. Now, my mom was a piano teacher. In our family, the oldest one plays piano best. My brother did trumpet. My sister, she plays piano way better than I. And my lessons would always get pushed off. So I can't play keyboards really at all. I can find anything, but I can't play 2 hands together still.
Wow.
Yeah, but the interesting part, I wanted to be close to my mom, so I was on the piano bench all the time, and I learned to sight read because I was her page turner.
Wow.
So I was this little one, just could barely reach up to turn the page, and there I was, but I could follow the music, and I would follow the lines. And then, of course, I was in church like 5 days a week.
Yep.
And I was reading the hymnal, just like you know, read
Yes.
hymns, then I'd sing the alto, then I'd sing the tenor, then I, up the
Wow.
octave, and then so I just, music was my life.
Wow.
When we would ride home from church on Sunday night in the dark, I remember laying up where you shouldn't, of course, it's against the law, but in the back window because our car was so full, and singing harmonies from the time I can absolutely remember just doing a cappella harmony, singing worship songs or a song we all knew. And those memories, I'm sure you have them too. There's just nothing like it. I can close my eyes and still feel it and hear it. You know, it's just, it was beautiful. So I did that in school. I was lucky enough to be in a high school that had 8 choirs. So, and I was in the top choir and the small group. So I got kind of college education in high school. Then I was in ministry for a little while, which was a little aside, and then came back and got a degree in vocal performance and theater, musical theater. And that was in Indiana, a small college named Bethel College, which you probably know of since you're involved with Azusa, right?
Yes.
You heard about the college? Okay.
Yes.
So that's where I got my degree, and that was wonderful. And interestingly enough, I got a full tuition grant, thank God. I mean, it was really important.
Yes.
One of the things I did for the school was I taught voice for the school, and I also put groups together, musical teams, to go around and sing. So I put a quartet together, a 9-voice group, a trio, you know, all these different, a 12-voice group. And I realized after I was contracting, I thought, you know, I've been doing this for years. I didn't know. It's like nothing is wasted. I was doing that for the school, and I got all these tools for my toolbox. That's the way I think about it. I think from the time we're small, the learn the opportunities, you just shove them in your toolbox. And since I have boys, I talk about toolboxes and cars a lot.
I love it.
Anyway, yeah. So that's kind of the way that I came to, Los Angeles. And I was involved at a church in Westlake Village, Calvary Community, singing and leading worship and doing whatever I could in a small group. And there was a guy there who wrote a lot of arrangements for Christian music then. And he said, you know, I really think you've got the skills to be a session singer. And I had done a few sessions back in the Midwest at Pine Brook, which is down in Alexandria, and Chicago, a few things, but really I hadn't pursued it. So I went and sang for someone. He said, you should sing for Gene Merlino. And back in the day, he was teaching a sight singing class, and he was the gentleman. He was the voice of Sir Lancelot in Camelot. If you watch that movie, and he was on just a bass that you've heard on so many things in town. So he's like, yes, you can. So go sing for this guy. And basically what I did was I just kept following the prompts that I got from those people that I respected. And I thought, you know, I'll try that out. So I didn't really understand the business, but I just kept going and going the next step and realized, you know what? This is where all my skills come together.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to tell you that right out of high school, before I went back to Bethel, I went to business school. Because I had been working in a flag factory on Long Island, sewing American flags on a power sewing machine, stripes and gobs of stripes for days.
Wow.
And there doing the whole thing. I thought, I don't want to work in a flag factory anymore. So I got a business a bit, and then I started being a secretary. But I realized in being a contractor, you have to have a business head. And in being in the business, we have to not only be an artist and really nurture our artist, but we have to be businesswomen.
Yes.
And that's the thing. I mean, we all have issues that we have to work on. And one of those things I find with people that are not as successful is they may be the most skilled singer in the world, but they don't have their business together. their dues up. I've not been able to hire people because even though they have advance notice, because I let them know, they don't pay their dues, and the company will get fined. That's what we
Mm.
don't realize. It's not being mean, but what happens is if the singers are a problem, they won't hire singers anymore. It's just
Yeah.
so anyway, I'm kind of just blabbing, but
It's,
that's what kind of business. And
yeah.
when I just sang for the next guy, and he said, go sing for him. And then I sat down next to a guy who was a contractor at this music convention. I said,
Hmm.
oh, is this seat taken? And I just sight read beside him.
Wow.
I just thought, okay, it was a sight reading session. I thought, okay, I'm going to just try this. I was scared to death, but I did. And then another time, then like maybe a month later, I was invited to go observe one of his sessions.
Hmm.
And at that point, I said, if you ever would have an extra spot, I would love to have an opportunity to sing with you.
Hmm.
So that began my career. And that's how I started. That's how I got into LA show business.
Wow. And what a career. What a career, to say the least.
It has been so wonderful. It is just little did I know. I mean, the blessings that would abound, and all the amazing composers and arrangers and singers.
Yeah.
Oh, this community. It's what I tell my boys and lots of people is that session singing is the greatest team sport
Hmm.
ever.
Hmm.
You have to be that member of the team, the glue,
Yeah.
and you know if you're going to called on to be the quarterback, that's got all the big roles, or just you're bumping people out of the way. But
Right.
bottom line is, you are part of that team, and you give
Yes.
yourself over to the team.
Yeah.
And so that's why I love group singing. I love session singing. I love putting people together and seeing the magic.
Hmm.
Like that session you did with me that was so fun.
Yes.
They said, we're going to do gospel. And this brilliant group of women I put together, I was just,
All women. Yep.
oh man, this is going to be so darn good.
Mhm.
Just damn good. Let's say it. Okay. And, and, and we got there and we walked to the stands. It was a cappella.
Yeah.
And it was, instead of a gospel thing, it was 4-part cantata in Latin.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
you girls, you women, just read it down. We just went through the Latin once, and it was perfection.
Yeah.
And no piano. There was no piano track. Nothing. Remember, it was just
It was such,
what?
such a powerful moment to even be with all those women from so many. I mean, it had everybody in it. So even
Did.
to be in
And
that
I
room.
was keep singing. I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
Okay,
That was fun.
no.
Yeah. Well, that might lead to really kind of what the second part of this is, and I want to have you introduce your family to me after this, but it sounds like you just sort of live intentionally. What would you say, Bobbi, is your what is your purpose? What do you think has been your purpose that has even led your 30 plus year career?
It is my purpose is to be kind. Kindness is a word that I've really latched onto, in that nice is okay, but kind is deep. So
Hmm.
kindness really matters to me
Yeah.
in my journey, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
In the musical journey, it was take the opportunities presented and be ready.
Hmm.
Everybody comes to an intersection in the road. Everybody gets an opportunity. So when you come to that intersection, you have to be focused and ready and open.
Hmm.
There's
Yeah.
an openness. So anything that might be keeping you from that, your own insecurity or your own, well, I want to be an artist,
Yeah.
so I can't take this session. Well, if you do something like that, you might not meet the producer who
Hmm.
sees you or, hears you sing a little solo. Actually,
Right.
let me tell you, my first on camera TV thing was to be a dancer, a singer, a singer who danced.
Interesting.
The union. Yeah. So it was dancers who sing and singers who dance.
Yes, because
So
there is a distinction.
the sing were in the front,
Yes.
and the singers who dance were in the back. But for some reason, we did this thing. It was on a TV special.
Yes.
And so then we went to the studio and they had us all audition for a one-note solo. It was
Hmm.
the word imagine. And I
Hmm.
think probably that would be one of my watchwords too, is imagine.
Hmm.
And so I sang this note. It was kind of Broadway belty thing, and I got it, and they loved it. And so when we went to actually do the show, when we were filming it,
Yeah.
my solo came up, and I was in the back. Now I'm 5'1.5", but I say 5'4" on my resume. Okay, I'm 5'1.5", but um, I thought they're going to move me to the front for my solo.
Yeah.
Well, what happened is they gave it to a dancer in the front row, and she lip synced my solo. But because I sang that solo, the gentleman who was the musical director called me the next day and said, this famous composer named Leslie Brickus needs someone to sing his songs. I went and auditioned for this gentleman. He wrote Candyman. He wrote Who Can I Turn To? He wrote
Wow.
He's huge. He's huge.
Wow.
Huge. Jekyll and Hyde. I don't know if
Yeah.
there's Jekyll and Hyde, Someone Like You. Those,
Yes. Ooh, I love that song.
I did the first demo on Someone Like You.
What?
Oh, weird. I know. So I ended up singing this gentleman's songs for the next 20 years because of that one note solo.
Ooh, that's a lesson right there. Oh, someone might have been salty and said, "Oh my God, I can't believe they gave her the part," and missed the whole thing. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a lesson. Ooh.
That's really, really an interesting thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So kindness. And I love what you even wrote about in your bio. You said that you love the opportunity of being service to young up and coming people who desire to be in the professional music industry. What does that look like? And let me take the time. We've got some people saying hey to you, Bobbi. We got Teresa and Chica and my friend Brandy. Hi, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Carissa. Yes. But what does that look like for you, even in how your purpose comes together and how you see that coming with people coming up in the music industry, even today?
Yes, I have loved working with children, young adults, helping them have a great musical experience, but realize how to be a professional.
Yeah.
To really treat them with kindness.
Yeah.
I've seen people work with kids and they get them all hyped up and they think like becoming a kid is going to get you somewhere. But I think what kids really appreciate is being done with the session and knowing it turned out really great. I'm affirming, but I'm strict. There are sides on the bridges when I work with children.
Yeah.
And as they get a little older, they become young adults and their voices are changing and they're becoming young pop artists and so forth. One of those boys I just put on my Facebook page is up for Broadway. He's going to go to Columbia when they open again. And he got into the top 10 of this Broadway contest of next Broadway star situations. So be able to not only support them if they have like another guy's doing a record. So I support his GoFundMe, page. And let me think, how else? Giving them a chance.
Yeah.
Actually hiring people who impress me.
Yeah.
Impress me not only by their voice, but by their manner, by their willingness to be a team player.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's combo. It's such a combo platform
Yeah.
because as a vocal contractor, you have to really know where you are in the hierarchy of decision making.
Mm,
So there's the composer, then there's the arranger, and then there's the contractor and the
right.
leaders. And
Yeah.
you want to make this vision, the way I see it, I get to be a cog in the wheel of realizing this vision.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get in the way of the arranger because he's fighting hard for his job. So if I start being all smarty, and I can see that the altos are written way too low and the tenors too high, and they're saying sing louder altos, and
Hmm.
there has to be a way to say, could I perhaps buy a tenor line for the altos and maybe grab some tenors for this alto line because they're having a hard time getting it out, or somehow say it in a
Yeah.
way that isn't, this is written all wrong. Tenors are too high, the altos are low.
Yeah.
The minute your ego gets in the way and you forget really what your purpose is,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really an interesting, and then when you're a singer, I love singing on other people's jobs.
Hmm.
You can just see people and get some coffee on a break and
Yeah. Chit chat. Hey.
catch up how kids are. And so that's just so wonderful to be just a part, and then,
Yeah.
you know, my job is not to go, ooh, I can see, because when you've been in charge and then you're not, you're a little more tuned into maybe what's ahead 3 pages, because you're able to look through.
Yeah.
You're again stepping out of what your purpose is for that
Hmm.
setting.
Ooh, that's a good lesson. Sometimes your purpose, there's like a larger purpose maybe that you live by, and then even sometimes job by job, there's purposes that you have to fulfill in that moment. And that I think goes back to what you're talking about. That professionalism is recognizing, okay, my purpose on this here job is to be a team player. I'm
Yeah,
not in charge. I'm
team
not.
player.
I'm not the soloist today. I am here for this purpose and I'm
Yeah,
serving these people. I love that. I
yeah.
love that. Yeah. Well, let's go to the second hat, the other part, and the purpose of Mom-Versations. Tell me about your family, Bobbi.
Oh, wow. Well, I have a fabulous family. I have 2 sons. One came with the daddy package.
Okay.
When I met Sid, he
I
had a
love
little guy, and, so from the time I met him, he was such a faithful father. Now, I didn't meet Cody for a year. We were very careful about that because we didn't wanna tear his little heart around.
Yeah.
So I feel pretty strongly about that. When people are dating and have children,
Yeah.
it's so important to take your time and not get that little child
Mm.
caught up in your thing.
Yes.
Make sure it's gonna last a while. That's just a little advice that I would
Little
love
tip.
along.
Little tip.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
little ones, just protect
Yeah.
them, and so anyway, Cody is my son, and he is my stepson, but I just adore him. I have
Mm.
known since he was 5,
Wow.
and then he moved in with us. Aaron and Cody are 10 years apart. They have each other's unbirthday. So
Oh.
they're 10.5 years apart, and they could not be more different. They are the axes. I've told them, if you guys could learn from each other, you are so different. You
Hmm.
axes of the world. One here you learn this, you learn that, and you guys will be the most complete people. So much to learn from each other.
Wow.
That took a while because
Mhm.
Aaron was 1 and Cody was 11 when he moved in.
Wow.
So that was a rough time. And then my mom was diagnosed with ovarian cancer the next year. So I
Wow.
was flying back to Indiana for her chemos,
Wow.
and it was a wild time. It
Hmm.
was really wonderful. And while I was going to preschool and also going to high school, back to school night and pre-K, and it was
Yes.
this constantly in the wrong in other worlds. They didn't meld, but now they're best friends.
Uh,
They are.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. So tell me about what has your job or your career and mommying look like to you have such a big gap between your two sons. What was that like, if you can walk me through what that daily, I mean, they're
Yeah.
older men now.
But I went through it big time. And
Yes.
I think one of the most important thing is great childcare. We
Yes.
hired a girl, just the angel of the world. Julia, we looked upon when Aaron was 12 weeks old.
Wow.
And we decided, because Sid is a violinist, so he was,
Wow.
yeah, always brilliant violinist.
Whoa.
Yeah, amazing. You've heard him on a million things. He's concert and does solos with, well, Paul McCartney's live concert a few years ago, the
Yes.
last thing, Sid
Yes.
was a violin soloist on Paper Moon.
Wow.
It was just a really wonderful experience. So that's Sid, and we realized we needed someone because I was getting busier, and I started singing 6 weeks after I had Aaron, and I think that was too soon. I wish I hadn't started back so soon, but I
Yes.
was afraid. That was the thing. I would say, don't be fearful that you won't get work later. Stay home with your kid, boy.
Yes.
So I was pumping. I remember being at oh man, it's on Sunset. You know what I'm talking about. It's like 6,000 Sunset Boulevard. Anyway, the studio, I can't remember the name.
Gower. Is it Gower Studios?
Well, it's there by Gower Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was in the bathroom pumping, looking at
Yep.
myself. And, oh my gosh, really, Bobbi? You had to do this. You had to be back here. And I was thrilled to have the job, but
Yeah.
I was a little fearful. And I don't think
Mm.
that's a good thing. I
Yeah.
think we have a window of time with our little ones. And so, but I had Julie. And
Wow.
so she was at our house, kind of every day, 5 days a week, and just the angel of the world.
Mm.
Um, and she's actually my mom's spiritual daughter. So now she's
Mm.
my sister, as far as I'm concerned.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's important. So yes,
Yeah.
childcare, even was she somewhat of a nanny? She was with you
She
guys.
would, yeah, she
Yeah.
would be there. Yeah. And when I was there, I was always with her. And so she would do other things for me, which was really
Yes.
fabulous, and just
Ooh.
make sure his little room was set up and those things that right then got really busy because it was right
Yeah.
when Disney started hiring me to contract.
Wow.
The first thing I did was in Aladdin, the Prince Ali song with all the
All that stuff. Yes.
four singers. I mean, I just jumped in. Oh yeah, sure. The four singers. Great. Okay, I'm going to contract this now. I was, and some of them were New York singers. They brought them out because Alan Menken wanted his singers, and
Wow.
so I was Taft-Hartling people and doing, all this paperwork on. It was trial by fire.
Wow.
The Prince Ali song, so we had to do all different voices, and it was fun, but it was just kind of overwhelming at the same time.
I can imagine. I definitely have had that of singing on a set, wondering, Carissa's on here. She helped me get
Yeah.
that. But so okay, so you had your help. What else would you say helped you through that time? Even with coming home, I know most working moms know this. You come home and your job doesn't stop. You can't just sit there and just, okay, kick my legs up.
Yeah.
How was that process of you coming home and then relieving the nanny and going into momhood? Like, what was that process? How did you get through those years? I mean, I was talking to somebody, most of my moms that I've been have been my guests, like, we're in the little stage. We got 4-year-olds, we got newborns. So you're on the whole other end. So we're like, yes, what did you do, Bobbi?
Yeah, well, you do easy dinners.
Yeah. Come
Easy,
on with the practical.
yeah,
Yes.
kind of plan ahead.
Yes.
Dinner's going to be kind of easy.
Yes.
And then you try to have a date night with
Mm.
your date.
Yes.
Really hard if you're working all the time and then
Yes.
you come home and you're just focused on the kids, then your relationship gets all kind of wonky and you
Hmm.
have to work on that. So there's that part.
Yeah.
You're single mom, then you've got the whole thing that you've got to
Yes.
do. And it's so important to spend time reading. I remember one time and singing
Hmm.
to Aaron, I was having vocal trouble because I was just too busy, too tired, too stressed.
Hmm. Yep.
And this is my weakness. This is where I get it. And so I decided to put on because I had done a lullaby CD for Hallmark. So I thought, this is what I'll do. I'll lay here with Aaron and play my CD. And Aaron said, "No, mommy, you. No,
Oh.
mommy, you." And I just thought, oh my gosh, if I can't sing to my son, what am I doing? But that was so having that time to read and sing because they are they're little sponges and they don't require real fancy stuff.
Yeah.
They just want you to be there. Aaron would tell me that SpongeBob SquarePants was on because that was the show for us. And mommy, he'd say, "Mom, Spongie's on." And I would drop anything and we'd sit on the couch and watch SpongeBob SquarePants.
I love that.
And so it was, good enough.
Those,
Yeah.
yes, those moments of connecting, even if it's just SpongeBob.
And laying in bed,
Yes.
I think is a really good thing. Just
Yeah.
laying there and just having that little time to rub their little heads and let them know that they're loved and they can go to
Yeah.
sleep and relax. And then you can put your feet up and have a glass of wine or do whatever. But
Yes.
yeah.
That is-
So that and what else would I recommend
Mhm.
during that period? One thing that was interesting, and I don't know if your daughter is a session singer yet.
Not yet. I'm sure she will.
Okay, what age is she?
She's 4.
Oh my gosh! Oh, so cute.
I'm surprised
Oh,
she hasn't come and bombarded. Sometimes she just goes,
oh,
"Mommy,
I
mommy."
saw her before it started. Just briefly, I saw just the edge. Yeah, she came in for a minute.
Yeah.
Um, and you saw mine. This
Yes.
2.5 guy. I don't know. He got that from his daddy. Um, so yes, I was saying something that I've lost track of.
Oh, session
Oh,
singing.
session singing for
Yes.
children.
Yes.
Yes, because a lot of times session singer parents have really good singer children because they just come up with that, you
Yeah.
know? And so balancing that as a contractor and having your child on the job is a really interesting conundrum in that they have to understand that you're the boss.
Oh,
You know?
interesting. Oh, you had your sons on one? Did you have
Aaron was a good little kid singer. He had
Wow.
a little raspy voice, and he couldn't sing on everything.
Yeah.
He didn't have he couldn't do any boys choir kind of voice soprano stuff. He didn't have that clear, but he
Yeah.
had a real kid voice, which you need sometimes.
Yes.
So I would have him on the session, and he had to learn that he had to not come up to me and say, "Mom."
Yes.
He had to stand back there with his headphones on, and he couldn't do anything that the other kids couldn't do, and
Yes.
so, that was interesting. I would have Sid come and be the parent sometimes so that he had a parent he could go sit in the lap of, because that was a little complex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that would be so interesting if my daughter was out of
No,
touch.
right.
Mommy, I know she would do that. Mommy, mommy.
Well, I know. And at one point, I had Aaron call me Miss Bobby like the other kids did, which was really
Miss
funny.
Bobby.
Miss Bobby, because that's what all the kids would call me.
Wow.
And I love working with kids singers.
Oh,
I
I
do. So sweet.
I love it.
It's really fun.
Well, we're going to go down a little bit through our questions. So even in discussing, being on set and with all the different contractors and people who are above you, as we know, our industry is mainly male dominated. How have you, in that process, how have you as little Bobbi, being 5'1", I'm sure people are like, "You're so cute." How have you how have you brought your sense of femininity to your role, but still like being sure of yourself as I'm leading and like walking fully into yourself in a room? How have you done that? How has been the process of finding that space, and how have you sort of maintained that?
I have acted as if.
Mm.
I have I pray before every session. I
Yes,
pray for who's on it and for the people that I'm working with
I
so
love
that I
that.
get myself centered in that.
Yeah.
And then I recognize my role, whatever that may be,
Mm.
so that I feel comfortable knowing exactly who I'm supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And then I realize that God made me who I am. So I am a feminine woman. And I like to be a feminine woman. I
Yes.
don't like to be a silly feminine. I don't need to play up to men,
Mm.
you know,
Yeah.
to be who I am and really enjoy. I like men. I really always have. I don't feel competitive with them.
Mm.
I don't feel like I need to prove something.
Yeah.
I think I think when we put on armor that we have to be tough and we have to,
Ooh.
I'm gonna, come in here and show them and stand up. I mean, oh, gosh, I have dealt with some real a-holes, of course,
I'm
as women
sure.
in business.
Yep. I'm
But
sure.
but the bottom line is I just kind of stand there and recognize they're the ones with the problem. I
Mm.
mean, people have definitely humiliated me. I mean,
Mm.
but that they set out to do that. That was their purpose,
Yeah.
for that, to make themselves seem bigger and stronger and meaner and more in control.
Hmm.
Yeah, one producer called me, "Who are you, the pitch bitch?"
Wow.
Because
Yep.
there was I contracted the guys, and there was one note that was making the quartet not be in tune. I knew
Mm.
exactly what it was. They did it over and over and over. So, and they told me to go to the control and say, so I just went over and said, "David, the D flats, it's too low. You need to lift it up a little bit." And the producer in front of everybody, not the music producer in front of everybody on the film said, "Oh, who are you, the pitch bitch?"
Wow. Woo.
Hmm. Never been called that
Woo.
before.
Wow.
Yeah, but I don't baby talk. I don't,
I,
sometimes women will baby talk. Don't
yeah.
talk.
You bringing up some good stuff, Bobbi. Yes.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? We
Oh
can
yeah.
try to and be God didn't make us men. He
No.
made us women.
Yeah.
So you need to be a woman in that place.
Yeah.
I I don't like to see women who are trying too hard to be something they're not.
Hmm. Hmm.
We were put I call these our cars. That's the soul. The driver,
Yeah.
inside this car. So the vehicle, it lasts longer. That's how I talk to my boys about the soul. So
Hmm.
I get into this car when you were born, and I've been driving. I try to take care of it. I try to make it look good. I try to get it washed sometimes. And when I'm done with my car at the end of life, I'm going to step out of the car because I don't need it anymore.
Hmm.
The purpose of my car is to get from me to you.
Ooh.
That's my purpose. So
Hmm.
I was put in this car.
Hmm.
And so I'm going to be a feminine female car. It's just the way it
This is my car.
is. This is my car. I got to
Yeah.
drive it.
Yes. Yeah. I like that analogy. This is my car. I'm
This,
gonna drive this car. You
yeah,
drive your car. This is my car.
exactly.
I
Does
like
that
that.
make sense? Does
Yeah.
that answer your
Yeah.
question at all?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, even in that though, I think it's a part of the journey of life is understanding my car.
Exactly.
Understanding my car and understanding what my car's how does my car function?
Yeah.
I know you can think, through my teens, through my 20s, through my 30s, through my 40s, like
Yeah.
you're understanding, that's how my car functions. It's
Yeah,
like a
right.
constant process. So,
How
and then we're doing that in a
good.
career that is not always stable, or, there's so many like variables that come with this music industry. So how, even if after 3 decades at this side of life, how specifically with that, even with that journey, what are some of the tips that you can kind of give with that?
Uh, the first thing I would say is stay away. This is what I did when I was getting started out and continue to actually
Yeah.
stay away from people who are negative.
Mm,
There are people who will talk down about the business. Oh, you never can make it in business. I had people tell me that. Oh,
mm,
it's a closed business and nobody will let you in and
wow.
it's not going to happen. Well, no. And every time I would leave hanging out with that person, I'd think, boy, I'm so down. Why am I so down?
Mm,
And
yeah.
I realized I can't have that kind of input.
Yeah.
I can't do it to myself and I can't let somebody else do it to me.
Mm,
I would find that those people talking that way didn't work that much.
mm.
Honestly, they bring with them this
That cloud. Yeah.
cloud of it doesn't work, and then those people are in and I'm not, and it's like, man, I'm here, so I guess I'm a part of the group
Hmm.
team. I
Yeah.
gotta play. I'm on the team today. The other
Yeah.
thing I did early on was look at my trajectory rather than just look day to day if I was working or not.
Hmm.
Look
Ooh.
look and say, these 3 months I've had this many jobs, and I used to write them in a little journal and kind of keep it, but not look, oh my gosh, I'm not working today and I'll probably never work again
That's
because,
good.
and with COVID, this has been so difficult. Everybody
Yes.
trying to reinvent themselves. And I think we just need to take the steps, the old follow the footwork and leave the results to God, do
Mhm.
everything you can, keep your instrument up, keep your voice up
Yeah.
for your own enjoyment,
Yeah.
and get whatever equipment you can, or find a friend who has it. I think people are so willing to help each other, right?
Yeah.
If you trust that they don't have COVID and they've been, whatever, but use somebody else's studio,
Hmm.
self available to be able to sing for others, and then don't compare your path to somebody you see. There are some people who post all the time about what they're doing. And so you think their phone is ringing off the hook. And I'm really kind of against that social media. Oh, I can't believe I got chosen to do this because, oh my goodness, so self-serving.
Yeah.
And I've always told people that work with me or for me, please don't post because it hurts people's feelings.
Hmm.
Honestly, that's the reason. There are people who need it just as much, and for some reason, I mean, there have been times, many times, when I've been told, "Hire 40 singers," and then they move it down to 20, so I have a list of 40 singers that I wanna put out, and it's not anything to do with them, but they just cut the
Yeah.
budget, and sometimes you have to make choices based on maybe what the sound specifically is, um, and so but it doesn't mean that you don't really respect and love
Yeah.
everybody on that list.
Yeah.
I wish, and I told my friends early on when I started contracting, I said, "I wish I had a van and I could put all of you in it and take to every session." But that's not the way it is, because if I do that, then none of us will have more work.
Hmm.
The job is to have a specific sound,
Yeah.
specific thing. And sometimes it's just about the sight reading skills, honestly,
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
pile of music can be this big and you have 3 hours and they say, "Oh, well, we put in, all this," and I'm just, my stomach's in a knot and everything when I see the book, because sometimes I don't see it till I get there either.
Wow.
To make the part splits, I have to figure out who's gonna sing what part, where, when, and if
Hmm.
it's goes sometimes it goes to 6-part splits, and you have to
Wow.
do it all ahead of time because there's no time to waste on the session. So,
Right.
really really not compare your journey to the next woman's journey.
Yeah. Yeah. That's key,
It,
especially in this generation. Well, how that would go with one of my questions. How do you, since you're sort of on the other side, but you have been in the journey of riding the highs and lows of this industry,
yeah,
how have you dealt with failure, Bobbi? How have you dealt with failure? Um, what would you say to even mothers who were at this stage who are, maybe they had to take a leave of absence for a little bit to take care of their children? What would you say? What would you say for those who literally are sitting in the mud of failure? How have you overcome, and how would you even talk to those moms or even those people in the industry?
I would say you are a precious child of God who's been given a gift. And so as the holder of this precious gift God gave you, you need to continue to nurture it. And not everybody will understand or put you in their oh, hi there, honey.
There she is.
Yeah. Hey. Um, just remember that you have to keep nurturing it. You have to keep your thing ready because you never know.
Mm.
You never know when something's going to happen. An example of that, I was singing some of the worst demos I've ever sung in my life for
Hmm.
this gentleman who turns out he was from Paris, but he was originally from Iran. So he had written these songs in French with an Iranian accent, kind of, and then
Wow.
he translated them to English. So the syntax was very odd, and they went up and down and around and around. The melodies were just like, oh my gosh, how do we put this? But somehow I did it. So I
Wow.
went, and a few months later, he came back and he took me to lunch. He said, could I have your picture and resume? They'd like to see this. I'd like to take it to Warner Brothers France. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. Because I'm thinking, you're playing your songs okay, perfect. Okay. So I took my picture and resume, and he went back. A month later, I got a call and he said, we have a deal. You have to get on a plane. And I went to Paris and did a record.
What?
It was the weirdest, it was the most amazing thing. But when I sang the songs, I sang them because I wanted to make them pretty. And so I sang them with a heart of respect for the guy, the song, the project.
Yeah.
And you never know. That's the strange thing.
Yeah.
You just never know when something like that will happen or the other will happen. I
Yeah.
was for Prince of Egypt. It got down to two women, um, me and wonderful, wonderful singer, to sing for Sandra Bullock,
Hmm.
Prince of Egypt.
Wow.
And it went to the other lady who I adore. She's a wonderful, wonderful singer. But I was so disappointed. That felt like a failure to me because I was so close to be singing all those great songs and getting some real get up and go as a soloist, because I think what happens here in this business too, I didn't know what contracting was
Hmm.
when I got into it. Then I became one and realized, yes, I love this. But I always had wanted to be kind of an artist. So your path doesn't always take you where you think you're best suited.
Ooh, come on, Bobbi.
Yeah,
Come
that can
on.
be your idea, your path.
Yeah.
But maybe God has this, whoa, all of this for you.
Wow.
And in there is going to be a solo here, and in there's going to be something else. But you also get to nurture all these other singers,
Wow.
provide income for all these other singers.
Wow.
That was just amazing for me to be able to not only bring these amazing people together, but then to let them know that I'm taking care of them and they're going to get their scale, the correct scale. And
Yeah.
have to fight with the company sometimes about getting, repayment. You have to, it's kind of a hard job.
Hmm.
But my secretarial skills, and then you get help with friends that you trust. That's the other thing I was going to say. I'm jumping back to what got me through all these times
Great.
was finding a sisterhood,
Yeah.
a few women. It doesn't have to be a lot,
No.
because you have to protect yourself too. Because
Mm-hmm.
there have been people that I thought were my best buds and have confided things that were really tender and dear to me that betrayed me in some really bad ways. So you have to best as you can, while still trusting people, is bring a few people together that you just know, no matter what, you can trust them with your success or your failure.
Yeah.
They will root you on, even if they're another singer.
Right.
They'll understand your plight
Yeah.
and not being able to have them in the van on every job.
Yeah. Man, I was just telling one of my students that your friends become key, and not, in the younger age, you're like, oh, I got like 30 friends.
Uh-huh.
But I just need 1, 2 good friends that they have your back. As you said, in the successes and the lows,
Yes.
they have
Yeah.
your back. And then
That's
sometimes
right.
people that you don't even know come in. You're like, hey, oh wait, you're a great friend.
Yeah.
I know. I
Yeah.
guess that goes back to what you're talking about, kind of being open to life. But sometimes which is why I ask that, sometimes, especially in this industry, the feeling of failure or the feeling of things like, why isn't it working for me? Or, watching somebody else's and they're like, well, they have that and I don't have that. And we went to the same training or whatever.
Right.
And some of that stuff
Your journey,
closes.
your journey, you have to really protect yourself from that.
Ooh.
Oh, if somebody's posting all the time, block their posts. Honestly, I just think uh, you have to protect
Yes.
yourself. You have to be your own best friend first.
Yes.
Because sometimes being a little singer all through the years, it's been my best friend. Music, actually, songs. I used to sit when I come home from grade school on the bookcase, because that was the heater was. We had kind of a we didn't grow up with much at all, and that's okay. I learned a lot from that too.
Yeah.
And then my dad would put his check back in the offering plate too. So he was, really giving.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we're kind of living on my mom's income. So little Bobbi, that open heart, I've kind of always had an open heart, and I've had to learn that adult Bobbi has to protect little Bobbi, who's so open and so willing. And so it doesn't mean that you stop being the essence of who you are, but you do need to kind of put blinders on and just know, okay, this is the road God made for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk down my path. And if somebody comes along, galloping along, thinking horse metaphor now, then you can see them over there, great. But your job is to finish your race.
Yeah.
Your job is to stay in your lane and finish your lane in your race. Go great, go at it. But the next turn's coming, and I actually have looked at the track, and I see, so I'm going to take it a little easy around here so I can,
Yeah, that's great. Protect little Bobbi. You speaking to me. Protect little Aretha.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Because you sing from there, I think.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's just a culmination of everything that's made us the woman we are today? So that's what's coming out there. And to access that I think it's a really important thing. It keeps us reachable and teachable. That's another thing that one heart desire of mine is to have a reachable, teachable heart.
Yes.
So that I will still learn, that I will still grow. I won't have my skin so tough and be so hardened by the business and people who treat me badly. You have to get past it.
Yeah.
You have to. I think there are some people that you have to forgive, but keep distant from.
Hmm.
That comes with maturity. You don't have to carry this anger with you
Yeah.
because it can stop up your creative juices.
Yeah.
You have to know that they are no longer worthy of your attention or um, your heart, your
Hmm.
art.
Yeah. I mean, that brings up, and we're coming to a close. I know I've been talking to you a long time, but
Oh,
but
honey,
that
good.
but that brings up what we're living in right now. We're living in kind of a divided world with the
Yeah,
election, with what's going on racially. There's just so much that we're living in right now. And I
yes,
think even what you're talking about kind of speaks to that of how do we in such turbulent times, at times when it is divisive, and really being able to live free even in those moments,
yes.
I think is key, and kind of what you're talking about. Can you talk a little bit more about of maybe what self-care looks like for you, how you take care of little Bobbi in this, and then how do you stay open in the midst of so much going on in our society?
Wow, that's big. There's a lot. I mean, I wish we had a long, long
I know.
time to talk because I think, just like I said, God put me in this car, God put you in that car.
Yeah.
We have cars and we have a purpose, and we
Yeah.
need to get to each other. We need to be able to communicate and not judge each other based on the kind of car we have.
Yeah.
It's just the last thing on my mind.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm responsible for mine, and that's
Yeah.
And so I think the other thing that I really try to do, it's another one of my watchwords, is that we would be the hands and feet of this mystery. It's a
Mm.
song that Nicole Nordeman sang years ago.
Mm.
And I think this mystery of life and of knowing each other and coming together is just so important. And we can be that for
Mm.
each other. We can come to each other. We can be the hands and feet. We can be loving to one another and
Yeah.
embrace and know each other and not make assumptions based on anything.
Yeah.
Just know that we are all equal in God's eyes. We are all precious. Jesus loves little children.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that. I
Yeah.
learned that the time I was tiny.
Yeah.
And it just, we are all precious in
Yeah.
His sight. And and that's the way I view people that I meet
Hmm.
all the time, even in the store. I mean, that sounds funny, but if I meet a teller, I figure teller in the bank or a woman who's checking out my groceries, I figure I can make her life better. She might have had a really rough day. So I'm going to really acknowledge her, because now with everybody on their phones,
Yeah.
you don't even look in anybody's face anymore.
Yeah.
So I think it's just so important to be open to each other,
Yeah.
not assume something about someone based on anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Is
That
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 clear?
that's clear. That's clear. As I think you said in the first few sentences, the period, we're all created equal, all of us, regardless of skin tone, what you believe, we're all equal. But
We are.
there is that division, but it is, I love that what you were talking about, of just regardless, hopefully being able to stay open and be able to see that person.
Yes,
We're equal. Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a difficult time. I'm telling you, Bob, it's such a
I
difficult
know,
time,
and
but it goes back to that. It really just goes back to that fundamental belief that I am no greater than you.
Right.
You're no greater than me. We're
Right.
all created
Exactly.
in God's yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
And
it's
we're here to
yeah,
learn from each other.
yeah,
We're different so that we can know, so
mm,
that we can become better,
yeah,
better and more complete. We can become more complete people if we learn and know from those who are different from us.
yeah.
It's imperative, I think.
It
I
is
Yeah,
imperative. And I think like our discussion sometimes even after the seniors meeting is sometimes it is having those hard discussions
yeah,
and having people who are willing to sit at the same table. It really is the and have the hard conversations, not going, I'm going to take my ball and walk away, but it is
right.
being able to sit and you hurt me right there, or
Yeah,
what you said. And I mean, and I guess that goes with marriage, that goes with any relationship of having those hard conversations and being able to get up to play again, play again together. But it takes those hard
mm,
one, I think being aware of it's hard, but
yeah,
two, also sitting, like you said, we're all sitting at the table. We see each other's equals and we are sitting and having that hard
yeah,
conversation to be able to walk forward with it. So, yes,
absolutely,
I
absolutely.
love that, Bobby. Well, we are coming to the end of our conversation. This is one of the questions that I always ask moms, but you're at the other end. I usually ask, if you met your child later in life, what would you want them to know about you and your journey? And you have older children. So
Yeah,
what have you are there some lessons that you're even now that at least I know from me and my mom's relationship, like it's different because I'm no longer a child,
yeah,
like we're somewhat friends, there is always that respect for
exactly.
my mother and my parents always. But then there is sort of that friendness and that really learning. I'm just kind of gleaning from my mom, even at this age. What are some of the life lessons that you are passing on to your sons and maybe hoping to continue to the next generation?
Well, that nothing in your journey is wasted.
Mm,
That everything is a learning experience. And it's more tools for your toolbox
yeah.
so that you are a more complete person.
Mm,
Um, that working in that flag factory, as strange as that sounds, all those hours of patience on those power sewing machines, I realized a kind of um, way to be patient. So when I was doing these long gospel sessions for Maranatha and Integrity, and they were singing those, and we would start at 9 in the morning and sing till like 11 at night,
woo.
and people would start to get edgy and antsy, and I was like, this is great. I have the patience of Job right now, because I did. I was like, and I'm not running a power sewing machine,
Right. Wow.
no, not
Perspective.
Yeah, we have to realize how blessed and fortunate
Yeah.
every lesson is, and that's, I think, what I want my boys to know and continue to know is that even though during COVID, Aaron lost his job and his because he was bartending, he wants to be a cop.
Hmm.
He wants to be a police officer who really is a different kind of guy.
Hmm.
He's a great singer. He was on Glee. He's handsome as can be. He was on American Idol, made it to Hollywood. He was like got all this, but he wants to be a cop.
Wow.
And he's a bartender. So he lost his job and place to live.
Hmm.
As-
Wow.
So he had to move home, which is really weird because we were like, okay, we're paying for all your school. You don't get to move home. You go out in the world and make your mark. And then COVID.
Yeah. It's reality. Yeah.
So now we're really up close and personal with Aaron, and it's a chance to see him as an adult and learn from him and know um, how to speak to him. Not, I have to treat him as an equal because he's no longer my little guy.
No. Right.
Yeah. And we did teach him, though, early on about consequences, that
Hmm.
there were good consequences and bad consequences.
Yeah.
One time when he was about 4, he did something bad. And so I said, honey, there are going to be consequences. And he looked up and said, good consequences or bad consequences, mommy? Just trying to work it. But it's true,
Yeah.
consequences based on our behavior. So
Right. Right.
That's
Right.
one of those things that might be helpful to parents when you're talking to your kids rather than you're in trouble. This is life.
Yeah.
Life gives you this. There are consequences based on behavior. And so it's time to learn that you want the good ones and not the bad ones.
Yes.
So
Yes.
both speaks to that. Sometimes I get a little sidetracked. I know. I'm
It's
sorry.
okay. It's okay. It's okay. Well, if you say you come say whatever a few years from now or later in life, and what would you want them when you know you are no longer here? What would you want your boys to remember you for?
Gosh. That I loved God, that I have sought to know him better and be wiser, that that I am reachable and teachable, and that they are loved beyond words.
That's it. That's it. That's what we want. Our babies to know you're loved.
Yeah,
I loved you with everything. Yes.
it's
Yeah.
beyond. I think the thing about being a mom that people that aren't parents don't ever get is you learn to love in a way that you never can.
Yeah.
No other way to learn this kind of love, the selfless love that you have.
Yes.
You have to look at yourself so carefully because you see things coming out of that child that are that
Yes.
press your buttons that nobody else can press.
Yep.
You get refined. It's a refining fire.
Yes.
Parenting, being a mom,
Yes.
this is really, I think, the most important and the hardest job
Yes.
in the world. And the fact that you're doing this wonderful forum is so great so that mommies know they're not alone because
Mm,
it is a big old thing. And
yeah.
I'm available to talk if anybody wants to, because I am kind of past that now. And I can kind of enjoy my sons as help me carry the wood in and things like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think I am available if anybody ever wants to talk. Yeah.
I love that. We will get Bobbi's social media handles or how you can contact her. But I always and if anybody has any questions who are still watching, at least currently, you can feel free to put some questions in the chat if you have questions for Bobbi. But I always ask this question, after reading Michelle Obama, our previous first lady's autobiography, and then watched hers on Netflix. I love that they left the audience with the question, who are you becoming? And so I asked you, Bobbi Page, who are you becoming?
I'm becoming uh, who am I becoming? I'm becoming a more complete me. I am becoming and opening up to I'm thinking about new projects I want to do. I still have a lot to say vocally that I want to touch people with, and I am becoming a clearer, clearer person who understands what makes Bobby tick.
Yes.
Keep
Yes.
looking, keep trying to find. And
I told
trying to be better, trying to be a better me, trying to do a better Bobby. That's what I'm working toward.
okay. So can you say hello to Miss Bobbi? Go ahead.
Sweetheart. Hi.
She asked me. No, just a popsicle. You can have okay. You can have
Yum.
this
I
one. And
I'm
you remember these days? They wait until you are on the call, or they wait until
of course.
they quickly learn that. I don't know where that comes so quickly. They learn it.
They
Mommy,
do.
can I have the world? As you're like, yeah, get out of here, get out of
Yes, please. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
here, just get out of here. Anyways,
Oh,
Bobby is becoming.
floor is so,
Becoming more complete. That's what is.
yeah, that was what I was saying. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love
There's
I
a chance to know yourself better and grow. Really?
yes. Yes. What have you been learning? I mean, you talked about, yeah, that's what I love. I'm a lifelong learner. That's what I call
Yeah.
myself. What have you been learning? And I didn't ask that question anyway. What has been the greatest lesson you have learned during this season? Either lesson, or are you learning some new skill or something? What is
Well, I think the most the most important lesson is that I am not what I do. I'm
Mm,
who I am. I am Bobbi. I am Bobbi the mother. I am Bobbi the wife. I am Bobbi the friend.
yeah.
I am Bobbi the woman. And I'm not valued. I don't need to be valued based on how much work I do, how much I sing, how
Yeah.
that's what I do. And I'm really thankful that's what I do.
Yeah.
But it's not who I am.
I like
And I
that.
think that's been a really good lesson during this.
Hmm. That's
It's
shoot.
hard.
It's hard.
It is hard. Yes,
It's
our
hard.
business. And
Yes.
yes, our instrument, like even for instrumentalists,
Yes.
violins here, the horns here, whatever they do, it's outside of themselves.
Yeah. They
Like
put it
a
away.
different violin.
Yes.
We are our instrument.
Yes.
And so we define ourselves as if that's what makes us valuable.
Yes.
But
Yes.
we are all Stradivariuses, and God made us just the way He wanted us.
Moo.
Yeah, with the vocal cords we have. So
That's a lifelong lesson for any any
it
artists, any
is.
singers on here, because you're like, yeah, yeah, I got it. And then something, bad happens, or then something amazing happens. You're like, oh my God, I'm great. This is, and so it's like
Yeah.
everything, the good and the bad. And so,
Yeah.
and yes, constantly, I am not my voice. I am not the opportunities that this voice offers. I am, as you said, I am a mother. I am a sister. I'm a friend. I'm kind.
Yes.
I am a servant. I'm a
Yes.
lover. I am a fighter. But
Yes.
yeah, all of those things.
Absolutely. Yes.
Ooh, man, that's a good lesson. Have you picked up anything fun that you're learning in this during this time?
Home chef. I've been cooking home chef meals because cooking all the time, I mean, not being able to go out to restaurants and do all that kind of stuff. So I get home chef twice a week, and it's great because it's like a puzzle. They give you all the ingredients and the chicken or whatever you're going to cook, and you fix this fabulous dinner that seems like it's a restaurant. And then you plate it like it is on. And so it's just, I tell Sid, I'm going to the kitchen to cook with Michael because I listen to Michael McDonald.
Oh, I love it.
He drives me crazy. He's so good.
Yeah.
His voice, oh my God. So I'll just say, I'm going to be in the kitchen with Michael making dinner. So
I love it. I
yeah.
love it. Oh, is Home Chef like, I'm trying to, I
It's
think
like
Blue
plated
Apron
a
is what
blue
I heard.
apron. Yeah, it is. Home
Something
chef.
different.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, how fun.
It's fun. It's kind of fun to not have to go into my recipe book, but just go, okay, give me a paper. Okay, so I need to do this with the garlic and I do this, and they just give me the exact right amount so I don't have this much parsley for
Yes.
sprigs.
Yes.
So that's been fun.
How fun.
Yeah.
I know we talked about Bobbi likes to dance.
I love to dance. Salsa.
Salsa. Yes. That's
Salsa.
what we found out. Wait a minute.
Yes.
I'm waiting for it to open back up so I can go salsa
Me
dance.
too.
Oh,
Let's go. Oh
have
my
to go
gosh.
together. That is my favorite. Even though I don't get to do it much because I am a mother, I used to go out every other Sunday. Where did I go? At Universal Studios. They used to have a free club you could just go in.
Great club. I heard about that. I never went to it, but I heard it was great. Yeah.
Yes, I used to go every other Sunday because I had every other Monday off. And so on my days off, I used to go and just dance until it closed. Me and my twin sister used to go. That was our favorite
sister.
I have a twin.
Wow,
So,
that has to be interesting. Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's my friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my partner. I'm like, come on, let's go. So we'd get our little outfit on, whatever for the
Yeah,
night.
you bet. And those shoes that would
And the
go pull you.
shoes, got to have the right shoes.
Gotta have the right shoes to match the right dress to match the
Gotta
right.
have the right shoes
I
and
know.
comfortable shoes at that, because you're dancing for 2-3 hours.
That's
Gotta
right.
make sure those shoes are
Yeah.
danceable. I
Yeah,
had to learn that quickly.
that's right. That's so fun. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it. But man, and that's what I think that also goes to the thing we just talked about, like knowing that your voice is not you. Like you have other things you like, I mean, not as much as singing, but there's so many things I love about life and I love to do. And it's important to find those things outside of your
It
voice.
really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So important.
So important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look forward to meeting your little girl someday. What
Yes.
is her name?
Little
Oh,
a
just
little thing. Oh, well, I'm gonna get off here so we keep chatting. But
Oh,
everybody, thank you so much. This is
yes.
the
Thank
lovely Bobbi Page, and
you.
we are so honored that you shared your story and even the little tips, the many tips that you've given us over your 3-decade career as a singer, as a vocal contractor, but also as mommy of now adult sons, as a stepmom and a mom and a wife, and so many happy.
Now I'm a mother-in-law.
Oh, you're a mother-in-law.
Married. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
nice.
she's fabulous. So I have a girl, my first girl. I got her.
You got her. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. And she's
Yeah.
a mother-in-law. So so
Yeah.
many things to learn. I'm sure that we haven't even scratched the surface of the many lessons we can learn from Bobbi Page. But we thank you. Thank you on behalf of my audience and myself for even just sharing your story.
Thank you for asking.
Yes.
Truly,
Yes.
truly means so much.
And we got to say hello to the folks in the corner. We had Nia Drummond, Guy Medea said, hello, lovely lady. We give our shout out. I'm sure people would tune into this at different points of.
Sure.
But thank you again, Bobbi, for sharing your story.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you. You're just wonderful and lovely. And what a great format for people to learn and grow. And I can't wait to see you in person.
I know.
Yeah. Well, masks. I've got good masks. Oh, you have to see this one.
Oh, she went to get her mask.
Okay, just a minute. This is a really good one. Come here, you open up.
What you got?
One more time. Here we go. Okay.
Oh, that
emoji mask.
Look at the emoji. Have you worn that outside?
I have. I got at an airport, and a guy laughed out loud. He said, "That's the best one I've seen." So,
hey, you gotta have fun with these things.
gotta have fun.
There's so many other things to worry about and think about. Sometimes you just gotta be silly. Sometimes.
I know. Big time.
Big
Yeah,
time.
I did a Halloween one for Halloween because I was flying.
I love it. Well, thank you everybody again for tuning in. Thank you, Bobbi, for your story and for just sharing your whole self with this audience. We really appreciate you. Everybody, thank you. Feel free to like and share. Follow Bobbi. Oh, how can they if they want to contact you after this?
Facebook?
Okay, Facebook.
Messenger. Real easy.
Okay, great.
I think that's probably a good way, huh? And my website, bobbipage.com.
bobbipage.com.
They can just write me a message there and I'll respond.
Is that where your projects are also? I know you've got your.
Yeah, and I have to update it. I'm not good at updating it, but I do need to. Yeah, that's where you see what I've done.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
bobbipage.com. You can find her if you want to ask her some questions here on Facebook in Messenger.
Yeah. And my band, Dream Street Band, which we haven't done anything for a couple years, but I want to do a couple more records with them. We haven't even talked about that. We'll talk another.
I'll have to have her back on, everybody. All right. I'm going to get off of here, but we'll see you guys. See you next week with another mom. Thank you, Bobbi, for your story. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, everybody.